We're going to start today. I'd like to start differently than usual. So let's start off right on the knees, so standing on the knees. And so if that's an issue for you, if you don't have enough cushion with the mat underneath, then go ahead and put like a blanket or something under the knees. We're going to just take hands to hips for a moment and just feel what this is like. Let's release the arms, relax the arms. Relax the muscles in the face. And we're going to release into a child's posture. Now when we're releasing, because the knees are hips distance apart, you may need something in front of you where you can rest the head. So we'll just lower the hips, lower the trunk, lower the head. You may not make it again, so use something there. And then let's just feel this. Be here. Let the shoulders droop down. Feel the separation of the shoulder blades. Feel the heaviness of the head. And before we go further, let's remind ourselves why we practice, each of us having our own reason or reasons. You might be able to put it into words. You might just feel it, picture it. These reasons that we practice. And then we'll shift into a victorious breath, in through the nose, fogging out through the mouth, fogging in through the mouth, closing mouth, exhale through nostrils. The next inhalation, rise up to the knees, let the head come back, and then exhale, lower the hips, lower the head. Continue this motion. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the head. Exhale, lower hips, lower head. Now continue this. At the beginning, you might just let the arms follow and not really control them much. So feeling that control of parts of the body and the following of other parts of the body. Watching the whole unit work together. And then as you continue, you might incorporate the arms in some way that feels right to you. Many options. At some point you may not need the prop under the head. It just depends on how open you're able to get. Try a few more and maybe change the energetic feeling behind it. So maybe you get in a little bit more gently or a little bit stronger. We're going to go through a few more times and see to it, if you haven't already, that you get some motion in the arms, maybe a little bit of a circular motion or something else, just waking up the body. And we're going to go through a couple more times. And then you'll rest in the place that feels right to you. So you might stay on the knees, or you might lower to Balasana, child's posture. We'll be there for about 5 breaths before we meet again. And then we'll be meeting standing on the knees with the hands to the hips. Let's work a little bit with the pelvis at this time. So this is going to be working with the core, the pelvis, with very important areas of the body that really we think are separate, but they work as a very large unit. And we can experience that a little bit with the tilt of the pelvis. So let's relax the pelvis, the tailbone will shift back, and then tuck the tailbone in, the pelvis draws to an interior tilt. And then we'll just keep going. And so you can have hand on belly and hand on the small of the back, and feel a shift as you release the tailbone, as you pull the tailbone in. Just once or twice more. And then releasing. So that what we'll do is have the pelvis in a fairly neutral position, somewhere in between the outward and the inward tilt. And then we'll step the right foot forward. So with the right foot forward, we can have hands to the hips for a moment, and then sink forward into that right knee. So you might need to scooch the right toes, heel toeing the foot forward, till you get to the point where the knee and the right ankle line up. Now let's just be here for a moment, settling in to this lunge and feeling how important it is to open the body and relieve tension and relieve tightness in the body, not for the sake of releasing tension and tightness in the body, but because that has a deeper function. Many functions, but one is we can act so much more lovingly and kindly in the world when our physical bodies feel open and free. So that body and mind, the way that they influence each other, is partly the function of this practice. So we'll sink in about another deep breath, and then we'll come into the left knee and straighten the right leg. Turn the toes upwards, flexing the foot. Now we'll release this foot, right foot, and bring the right knee down to the mat and switch legs. Left foot forward, heel toe the foot forward until you can lunge so deeply you feel and see that the left knee is over the left ankle. Relax all the other parts of the body. Feel the shoulders relax. Drop into this lunge. Feeling closed spaces open. And when you feel that in the physical body, see if you can take that into the subtle body of the heart center and feel that area open up. Being more inclusive and more generous with your kindness and your love. And then we'll bring the weight into the right knee, straighten the left leg, turn the left toes upward. Some deep breaths. I'm just keeping the trunk upright for now. And release, left knee to the mat. Let's switch over to the back. So however you get there, bringing knees into the chest, rocking a little side to side, maybe moving the head side to side as well. So we're going to work a little bit with the core because that specifically helps support the back, and the core is part of the low back. And see, maybe circle the knees further apart or whatever feels right as you continue to open. And let us take the legs directly upwards and pull the belly in. So on the exhalation, pull the belly in. So deep breath in, exhale. All the way to the bottom of the exhale, you're drawing the belly inwards. Inhale, relax the belly. You can bring hand to the belly or hands to the belly. Exhale, pull all the way in. Inhale. Take a few more of these. It's okay if the legs are shaking. It means there's a little tension there that will get taken care of in a moment. Okay, so after the next exhalation, set the feet down. And then bring the arms alongside the body. You can have the palms down. What we'll do is take a few pelvic tilts here because then we're going to take it a little further. So go ahead and just relax the pelvis and feel that the low back is lifted off the mat. And then on the exhale, draw the pelvis inwards and draw the belly in. So feel like that area is really tightening up, drawing in, but it's still relaxed to some degree, right? Inhaling, relax. Exhale, draw in. We're going to do this again, but this time we'll draw the belly in, pelvis turns in, the back lowers, and maintain this position even though you're going to breathe deeply. So it becomes a little bit more challenging. Still pressing the low back into the mat even as you're breathing. And then what we'll do is lift the right foot off the mat, drawing the knee in a little closer. And then as you exhale, take that right leg forward. So it's just a couple inches off the mat. Draw the knee in, inhaling, exhale the right foot down. Inhale, lift the left knee. Exhale, left foot forward, straightening the leg. Inhale, bend the knee in. Exhale, set the foot down. So we'll continue this. Inhaling, lifting. Exhale, extending. Keep the low back in towards the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. You can always bring the hands to the belly to help remember this part of the body. Keeping it actively engaged. It's a fairly painless way to create strength in the core. Now we're going to take a couple more, and then you're going to have an option to take a little bit more of a challenging variation. So let's try that first, and then you'll decide where you're going to go. Both of the knees up, so the shins are parallel to the ground. And then you can take a deep breath in, still pulling that low back into the mat. On the exhale, extend the right leg forward, Inhale, drop back. Exhale, left leg forward. Inhale, drop back. So check and see which one is going to be better for you. And then continue a few more. So maybe one more set, both sides. And then once you finish with that left leg, we'll have the knees in towards the chest, the arms giving them a nice big squeeze, rocking side to side. Really pull the legs in. See if you can even get the elbows towards the shins. And again, maybe turn the head with this. So often we forget that the head and the neck are part of the body when it comes to our yoga practice. And it's like, remember, we want this to be also a fluid neck, one that has a free range of motion as much as it can structurally. And then let's take the arms behind and reach the legs back upwards. About 5 deep breaths, pulling the belly in toward on the exhalation. It's okay if the legs are bent, just keep the feet flexed. We're going to change over to a child's posture. So you could roll to the side or you could rock right up to seated and then roll over to seated on the heels, the trunk low. A few deep breaths. All right, let's rise up. Let's come back to standing on the knees. And we did this before, we're going to do it again and see how things have changed for us. So let's take that right leg forward, right foot forward, and sink in. Walk the toes forward. This time you might do something else with the arms, right? Maybe you'll take them out to the sides. If you want to help correct rounded shoulders, then you can take elbows back, arms at a 90-degree angle. You can also take hands behind, interlace the fingers. But focus, as you do whatever you do with the arms, continue to focus on this lower body sinking in. One more breath. Straighten the right leg. Flex the foot, toes upward. Now if you'd like, you can kind of change this up a little bit by taking the trunk back. Just take it back a little bit and feel what happens with the left side of the body, with the left glute. And then take the trunk forward a little bit. Take the trunk back and forward. Maybe a couple more of these. Once the trunk is back to neutral, we'll switch sides, right knee down. Take the left foot forward, walking that foot to sink into the left knee, and then drop into this lunge. Again, maybe something with the arms. A couple more deep breaths. Straighten the left leg, turn the toes up. And then maybe here again, you carefully take the trunk back and forward. Okay. Let's bring the left knee down. And now let's come into downward facing dog. So hands down, roll over the toes, lift the knees, take the hips back. Give yourself an opportunity to kind of look around the body. And then we'll float the feet forward to the top of the mat. Come into a forward fold. Be with this fold for about 3 to 5 breaths. Just sinking and lowering in. And then when you're ready, inhale, come up halfway, rise all the way up to standing, reach the arms up, find a side bend to the right. You can touch that left wrist and pull it up and over. Inhaling to center, exhale, side bend to the left. Inhaling center, again bending to the right. Center, left. And then center, we'll bring palms together, draw the hands in. Just here with the hands in, roll the shoulders a few times, loosen up. You might move the head side to side. We're going to come into a little bit of a balancing posture. It's also a back strengthener. So when you're ready, we'll have the feet hips distance apart. I'm going to take the arms up for a moment. And then take the left arm out to the left. Now when you're ready, start to take the left leg back, keeping the left leg straight and keeping the trunk as upright as you possibly can. So we're not going to be leaning forward like this. We're going to keep everything upright. Spread the left toes. Feel the left glute engage. Left lower back. You can feel the belly stretch up a little bit here. Take the left arm up, set the left foot down. Right arm out to the right. And then when you're ready, carefully take that straight right leg back, spreading the toes. So you can point the foot as well. See what feels better to you, pointing or spreading the toes. Either way, we're active all the way to the foot. Out through the hands, out through the feet, up through the head. Two more deep breaths. And then we'll take the arms up, set the foot down. On the exhale, fold forward over the legs. 5 deep breaths in this fold. We're going to go through that posture again. It's called Ashwatthasana. It's named after a tree. Noticing how this fold feels after we've done that. Okay, next inhale, come up halfway, rise all the way up to standing. Side bends, 2 sets, both sides. And then we'll come to center, palms together, hands in, Samastitihi. Okay, loosen up the shoulders again, circling there. Let's get ready for this next set, see how we are going to experience it differently, or in what ways we'll experience it the same. Take the arms up, set up that left arm out to the left, and then take the left leg back. Keep the sternum lifted. Feel energy going out through the feet, up through the hands and the head. Moderating the breath. The moment the breath gets frantic, it's a sign we either forgot to breathe or we're going too far into the posture. And then we'll take the arm up, left foot down, right arm out to the right, and send the right straight leg back. Even if the foot's just lifting an inch. One more deep breath. Arm up, foot down, fold forward over the legs. Release. Next inhale, come up halfway and then rise all the way up. 2 sets of side bends. And then Samastitihi, palms together, hands in. Roll the shoulders, loosen up. If you have blocks, set up the blocks so that you have one towards, if you've got more than one towards front and back of the mat. We're going to find extended triangle posture. So when you're ready, step the left foot to the back of the mat. Bring the arms to a T, so good distance between the feet. We'll turn the right toes to face the front of the mat, left toes face the left side. Just feeling this for a moment. So let's connect again to the feet, to the hands, to the head. And as you're here, make sure you're not collapsing into the right hip. So keeping the trunk upright. And then let's focus on the lines of energy that are occurring here. So feeling lines of energy through the legs, through the arms, through the trunk and head. Connect to that for another 2 breaths. Now let's continue to keep our attention on those lines. Reach out with the right arm, lower the right hand to the right leg, keep the leg straight. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Now, this is a good spot for a block. So you might have the hand to the thigh to keep the trunk over the right leg, or you might have hand to the outside of the right foot on a block, or you might grasp the big toe with the right peace fingers. Now, as you're here, take this left shoulder, roll it forward, and then roll it back. Draw the shoulder blade in, roll it forward, roll it back. Continue to take a few more of these. And then keep it rolling back for about 2 breaths. Keep the sternum turning upwards. Exhale, look down at the right foot, rise up to standing, arms to a T. Turn the toes. Now, the arms are going to feel, they've been here for a little bit, so feel what that's like. Lots of strengthening and toning happening. So the left toes are turned to the back of the mat, right toes toward the side of the mat. Feel the lines of energy. When you're ready, reach out with the left arm, lower it down to the left hand, inhale the right arm up. So from here you'll start to modify the posture according to the structure of your body and the current ability. Once you've got the arm settled, begin to roll this right shoulder forward and back. Moderating the breath. And then settling that shoulder back with the blade, shoulder blade going into the back. Look down at the left foot, inhale, rise. And let's release the arms and just let them hang loose for a moment. Turn the toes out and bend the knees slightly. Keep the trunk upwards. Keep the arms loose. Let's sink in a little bit lower and then reach the arms upwards. Bring the hands in. Take the arms out, up, hands together and in. This time we'll take the arms out to a T and keep them here for a moment as you squeeze the shoulders back. Now let's stretch the arms as we're here. So just cross the right arm in front, hook the left arm in front of the right and pull the arm in. So we're lengthening in the arm, but we're creating strength in the lower body. We're going to turn this into a side bend. So release the right arm out to the right, and then we'll drop the left arm to the thigh. Inhale, right arm up and over, keeping the knees bent. Reaching out of the waist, out of the armpit, out through the elbow and the wrist. Inhale, rise to center. Switch arms. Draw the left arm in, hook that arm in. Deep breaths. If you want more challenge in the low body, you can lower into a deeper lunge or a deeper squat. It's like a horse stance or goddess. Another breath. Take the left arm out to the left, right hand or forearm to thigh, left arm up and over. And we'll inhale, rise to center. Straighten the legs, take the hands behind, interlace fingers, turn the toes inwards, squeeze the shoulders back, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Prasarita Padottanasana. This is letter C. And release the arms. Dangle loose for a moment. Just let the shoulders hang here. And so what we'll do from here is walk, come up halfway, walk to the right foot, bring the left knee down, rise up, and then make sure you have this foot forward, as far forward as you can to sink into the right knee, just like we did before. Okay, you can rest and relax the arms right on this right leg, or let them dangle loose, but keeping them somewhat active so the shoulders aren't rounding this time. Sink in another deep breath. Straighten the right leg. You can have hands to hips. Turn that right foot up, toes up. You might lean back a little bit and then lean forward. Maybe you'll notice you can get a little deeper this time. And then at some point, keep the chest forward. And rise. What we'll do is plant the foot, bring the hands down, roll over the back toes to lift the knee, walk to the back of the mat this time. Coming into the left side, right knee comes down, lift the trunk. Hands can start at hips or on the thigh, and then we'll walk that left foot forward. Settling in. This is a good way, these lunges in particular, a good way to bring energy back to this part of the body that tends to get, again, closed off, where you can just focus on these lunges for 3 minutes and then go about your day. We'll straighten the left leg, turn the toes up. Begin to lean back slightly and then forward. Going back and forth until you feel ready to settle into a little bit of a fold here with that trunk looking for the left leg, the chest kind of looking more for the foot, keeping the spine long. And when you're ready, rise up. We'll plant the foot, walk hands, or take hands towards that left foot. Walk to center, fold in the middle, release down. Couple deep breaths. And we'll rise up. We're going to switch over to the back. So when you're ready, however you get there, you might shift to the front of the mat, come into a table. And actually, before we go down to the back, we'll sit up tall, make sure that we get into the neck, because otherwise the neck becomes a distraction after practice. So let's take hands to knees, find a little motion, see what feels right, maybe circles, maybe dipping one shoulder in the other. And then sitting up tall, chin to the chest. A nice clearing breath in through the nose, releasing through the mouth. We'll circle the head. We'll go 2 times. One way, 2 times the other. And shake the head out. Little twist, twisting to the right. The left hand to right knee. Into center and to the left. Into center and then all the way down to the back. So we're going to try something that it may or may not be something you want to do. So if you've practiced plow posture halasana, then you can give this a try. If you haven't, you're hesitant, go slowly, test it out, and or just keep the legs up in our candlestick posture, which we were in earlier today. Now before we go there, let's just bring right ankle to left thigh. Draw the left leg in and take a few breaths here. This might feel extra sweet to you, and you might want to come into this later today or even right after class. It's always a nice thing to sneak in an outer hip opener through the day. When you're on the phone, when you're reading a book. Lower the foot, switch sides. So part of this posture, it's going to create a little bit of pressure on the neck, and so we want to be very mindful to especially not turn the head once you're there. So once you have the posture in place, you'll keep the head still. All right, so when you're ready, we'll release this and take the legs upwards. And again, this might be your preferred place right here. You could focus on taking those deep breaths like we were taking earlier, drawing the belly in on the exhalation. Or you can lift the hips by taking the hands underneath them, taking hand to the sacrum, and then you would see that the knees are up overhead. The toes might not find their way behind us, or they might. But little by little, just keep the hands to the sacrum, and you'll feel lots of warmth and heat in the spine. If the toes find their way to the mat or the floor behind, you can bring the arms down, palms down. Keep the legs straight, again, even if you're supporting the body with hands to sacrum. Try to keep the chin somewhat lifted so you aren't pressing the back of the neck into the mat. You can still feel the back of the head on the mat. Feel the lines of energy. The trunk, arms, legs, the neck. Couple more breaths. And we'll slowly start to roll out of this. So if you have hands to the sacrum or arms down, go through without collapsing, just controlling the lowering of the hips. And then we'll release the legs. Take the legs out, forward, a little bit of a back bend here. Press down, arms are down, press down into the elbows, and lift the back and the head. Maybe the crown of the head comes to the mat. exhale, lower. Draw the knees in. Take the knees to the right. Arms to a T. Head turns to the left. Bring the knees to center and over to the left. Head turns to the right. Inhale, come to center and set up this final posture. Shavasana, corpse pose, or final resting posture. Releasing the arms, releasing the back, releasing the legs, releasing the face. You can first, as you watch the mind slow down, take conscious breaths. And then let that transition to breaths that just happen. So that you go into that space of watching what's happening. Not doing anything about it, just watching what's happening. Watching life move the body. And drifting into rest. If you've gone to another place, now come back by watching life move through the body and move the body. Watch the body just breathing without you doing anything. And then begin to do something and willfully breathe more deeply. Start to move parts of the body, feeling all these parts in connection with each other, feeling the wholeness of the body. Maybe stretching, arms back, legs forward. And then finding that you can bring the knees in and maybe move side to side or rock forward and back. Until you rise up to seated, where we'll seal the practice. And bring the hands together. Let's dedicate our practice today to all forms of life. Feeling the sheer awe and joy of these variations and various expressions of life. That are in our beautiful universe. And let's seal the practice with the sound of Om. Deep breath in through the nose. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. And I'm so glad that you made it to practice today. And I wish you joy, peace, and happiness